This video demonstrates how to use the Cloudera Cyber Security Platform to enrich events. Enrichments are new fields that are added to an event at the time of ingestion. Enrichments provide critical context about the event that is known at the time of ingestion that's necessary for triaging, investigation, or threat hunting. Enrichments can also establish peer groups for anomaly detection. For example, enriching an authentication event with a user's job function allows anomaly detection to compare users to other similar users. Finally, context can be helpful when scoring an event. For example, the host enrichment identifies crown jewel servers. Events involving crown jewel servers are scored higher than events from other servers. Let's walk through how the enrichments work in Cloudera Cybersecurity Platform. First, we load the enrichments into a table. For this example, we're going to create a new enrichment, which is called Alexa domain. And the Alexa domain is going to have a key, which is the name of the domain, and it's going to contain the value of the rank on the Alexa top 10K. So we're going to need to apply this Alexa domain enrichment to the values that are coming through on the event. So we have a domain without subdomains field on the event. We're going to pass that into the enrichment, and then we can do a couple of different things with it. The first thing we can do is we can add all of the data that we know, or all of the fields of that enrichment into the event, or we can use the values of the enrichments as we will see in the stellar to add new fields to the event. For example, the is Alexa domain field will indicate whether or not this domain is actually on the Alexa 10K, and then we might want to do different things with it depending on whether or not it's a commonly known domain or not. So let's see how this looks in a demo. We're going to run a script here that will import the Alexa 10K CSV file and put it into the enrichment tables for Cloudera Cybersecurity Platform. So we're going to run this script, and basically what it does is it runs the flat file loader shell script, and it uses an extractor config file. So I'm going to show you the command line that the script generates here. So here we can see that we have the extractor config file. We have the -t option, which is the enrichment table. We'll also have other tables that we'll use, for example, threat intelligence, but for this example, we're using enrichment table. We have our CSV file that contains the Alexa top 10K, and then we have the -c option, which is just going to be T, which is the column family. So let's take a look at what the extractor config file looks like. So the extractor config file just has some configuration that helps us read and create the enrichments. So the first thing here is the zookeeper quorum. We have the columns, which we're going to extract from the CSV file. So the first column is the rank, the second column is the domain. We have the indicator domain, which is the indicator column, which is domain, and that's going to tell us what the key for the enrichment is. So when we use this Alexa domain enrichment, we're going to need to pass in the domain as the key. Now that we've loaded these enrichments, let's see what we can do with them. Here are 3 different ways we can use these enrichments in Stellar. The first thing we can do is we can get the enrichment. So given the enrichment name, Alexa domain, and the key google.com, using the enrichment table, we're going to then look up the key Alexa domain google.com, and we're going to get the value for that enrichment. So this is going to return a map for domain google.com and rank 1. We can then take the map that we get as a result of the enrichment get, and we can then look for specific key value pairs within that map. So let's get the rank of the map, and that returns 1. Finally, we can also call enrichment exists, and that will tell us whether or not that key is in the enrichment table, but it won't look up any of the values. So for example, we're going to use enrichment exists. We're going to take Alexa domain, which is the enrichment name, google.com, which is the key for the enrichment. We're going to look it up in the enrichment table, and we're going to get the value true here. So let's take a look at how we can use these various pieces of Stellar to create enrichments on the alerts. Let's see how these enrichments work. First, we'll show how to add the isAlexa domain transformation into the events. So here I have our event. It's coming in with a URL, clients4.google.com:443. We're extracting out the domain without subdomains, which is google.com. And then we want to look up that domain without subdomains, and we want to determine if it's an Alexa domain. And if so, we want to set the isAlexa domain transformation to true. So let's take a look at how we do that. We'll go over to the Metron configuration. We have our squid events. We're going to go to JSON. And then we're going to add a field transformation. So we're going to locate the field transformations in the parser configuration. You can see up here at the top the sensor parser configuration. We're going to add the isAlexa domain to the output fields, because we want it to be stored with the event as it's stored in the indexes and inside of HDFS. We're also going to add in the transformation section, we're going to add a new name value pair here, which is isAlexa domain, the name of the new field, and then we're going to put in the Stellar code that we need to look up the enrichment value. So the Stellar here is enrichment exists. We're going to tell it that we want it to look at the Alexa domain enrichment. The key is domain without subdomains, the value of that field. And we're going to look it up in the enrichment table with the T column family. So adding in this Stellar is going to start the isAlexa domain transformation will now, and the new field will be added to the event. Alternatively, if I want to add all of the information that I know automatically to the event about that domain without subdomain, I can go in here. I might want to add the rank and all of the other values that are in the enrichment to the event fields. So I have another way which I can tell Cloudera Cyber Security Platform to add in all of the data, all of the fields that we know about this enrichment. So for example, here we have the domain rank. We know this is our domain rank of 1. We have a field enrichments.hbase enrichment, domain without subdomains, Alexa domain, and rank. So this was automatically added to the event. And then likewise, we also have the domain key as well. So if we want to add this information to the event, we can go over to the configuration. We can look here in the schema, and we can see that the domain without subdomains field has the Alexa domain enrichment applied. To set this, we're going to go to the JSON. We're going to scroll down to the enrichment config section, and then we're going to add two configuration line items. One is the HBase enrichment and the name of the field that we're going to enrich. So in this case, it's domain without subdomains. And then inside of the field type map, we're going to tell Cloudera Cyber Security Platform that when it sees the domain without subdomains, it's going to look it up in the Alexa domain enrichment. And so what this will do is this instructs the platform to look up that enrichment and add all of the values from that enrichment to the event and store it with the event. So now you know how to add an enrichment using the Cloudera Cyber Security Platform. Thanks for watching.